Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the back of the bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today, I'm very excited about this. Morton, who's already creasing because he knows I can sometimes fuck this part up. I've let it all, it's all revealed now.
This is definitely not the second time we're doing this.
This is the take. This is the real take, guys. Hot take time. Now, Morton's been on here before. We had a right laugh. It was wow, your first single was coming out. True that. But now he's brought on Nathan, who is the guitarist of the band, The Good Hustles. I tell you what, I'm so glad we did that again because that was better.
Oh, it was better. We had major energy there. Like Glastonbury.
All the energy.
I think that,
build our own mini Glastonbury on this bus.
That sums it up though. Every time you look at yourself from like, oh, I did that 5 minutes ago. Idiot. Idiot. But this is the one. This is the good one.
I'm proper check it right. You're running. We're in, boys. This is it. This is real time happening. So how on earth are you keeping up? When have you been around each other? Is this all been feeding back in?
We've never met.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's been a handful of times, I think, since... we recorded most of the stuff that we've been working on has all been done bedroom stuff. Yeah, like, it's all independent. That sounded weird, didn't it?
Why did you phrase it that way?
I don't know why
I thought we weren't telling people about that.
My OnlyFans is
that was very childish of me. It said bedroom stuff like that.
I'm just going to straight say all of us made eye contact.
I just saw you chuckle and I was like, oh, it's gone.
Bedroom stuff.
No, but like we all recorded it like at home alone.
You don't have to refresh it,
I know,
man.
really.
We set up a camera. We had a mirror on the ceiling.
Everyone knew exactly what you meant, and all the childish people out there, screw you. We're fine. Bedroom stuff makes sense.
Exactly. And then I think it's only within the last few months that we've been able to actually kind of occasionally bump into each other. So I think we've done a couple of rehearsals like in our rehearsal space because that's like big and ventilated and it's fine and healthy and whatever. Other than that, we haven't hung out all year.
No, it's been great.
Yeah, it's glowing.
Oh, okay.
So how did Good Hustles all come to be? And then when we get into the COVID world, how was the moment where you go, guys, we can't do this?
What are we doing?
Yeah, that was a wild one. Yeah.
I think that was most of it. It was just like, what are we... fuck are we doing?
Well, I mean, we were already used to
was that the starting bit?
Yeah, we were already used to the internal panic, so it wasn't really much different to us.
There's a gig on Friday. We haven't written anything.
No, we did do that once. We wrote a song like a day before a gig.
With
Run Out. Yeah, man.
What, did you realise you didn't have enough material or something?
No, we're just degenerates.
I would like to say we're like way more organised now, but we had like, we've got to do 45 minutes, and we were like, we've got 35, 40 at a push.
Nice.
And then we were like, okay, we'll just write this. We'll write this extra one.
Was it proper like bass?
You know,
just
you're
like
my baby, baby.
Yeah. We just listened to the charts and amalgamated all of it.
I stole one line from every Taylor Swift song.
That's why it was
writing exercise. I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen it on South Park where he wants to get into Christian rock?
Oh my god!
And he just changes all the chart songs with Jesus at the end. Instead of baby, he crosses it out and puts Jesus. It's like, I love you, Jesus, more than I can ever know. And then he leaves it in sometimes. He goes, you know that you're my baby. I'm like, oh, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
now.
it's just cringe. But like, that's if you want to write music like that, is the best way to go.
If that's your deal.
But we just got lucky with that one. I think it was like on the Friday, I was like, I've got an idea. Saturday we wrote it. Saturday night we did the gig.
Wow.
And then we went on to record it in New York. So for all of the people who have the drinking game where whenever I mention New York, you got to drink. There you go.
This is amazing.
We went to New York and did some gigs, but we wrote this song on like the Friday, played it on the Saturday for the first time, and then went and played it and recorded it in New York, and it came out great. So.
Quickly answer that. How long have you been together then? Good Hustles formed
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And New York happened
2 years ago now. Last winter. 2 winters ago.
Wow.
November. Yeah, last November.
So go on, like this moment, who had to break the news? Who went, lads, don't lose your shit too much here, but
that was me.
We are playing in New. Oh mate, I literally just got goosebumps.
It was a wild time.
That was me. So like I had a friend who I'd met through Reddit, and he's got this awesome. His name's Alex Bondarev. I'm sure he's probably listening. He's like one of those really genuinely supportive people.
The greatest guy you'll ever meet.
I think every time we get on a podcast or we have a public stadium, we're just like, please check out this guy. He's amazing. But Conversing With Oceans is his band. But he we'd met a few years ago, and I just said to him,
via Reddit.
By Reddit, yeah.
That's how you met.
Yeah, I reviewed one of his songs for a magazine I was working for, and then we just got talking. I covered the song on my YouTube channel, and then he messaged me, and then we just went back and forth.
Serendipity.
And now we're mates.
Serendipity.
It was good.
Or fate. One of the two.
I think we'll lean on fate. I think it was. I don't know.
Sounds better, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does sound better. Yeah. It's more
meant
of
to be. I think because I read this the other day. I typed in serendipity, which is very serendipitous anyway. And I saw the distinction between serendipity and fate. Fate being meant to be, serendipity sort of just happening,
being chance. Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, that's how it was.
You will learn lots on this podcast, by the way, guys. Really keep in and tune in.
And
really
you can sponsor us bringing up new words by buying our merch.
We'll even make some new words up for you.
For just £5 a month, you can sponsor a good hustle.
Do you have a Patreon?
No.
Do you think you're going to go down that
We probably
line?
should do that.
We've
got a merch store.
I'll be chipping in, boys.
I think
100%.
Yeah,
No,
we'll return the favour.
It's just a weird thing, though, isn't it?
We'll just send the money forwards and backwards. Massive circle jerk.
Well, we're £4 a month. If you're £5 a month, all I know is I'm losing a quid.
We're just making profit, yeah. But that's
how we get
you. I was going to say, we should absolutely do that, because then we just swap all the extra content.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think. I always feel weird saying pay for this. You know what I mean? Because it's just fun. Like I'm not in it to be like, I want to make tons of money. Obviously, everyone wants to make tons of money.
Yeah.
But at the minute, I just feel like let's just do it. Buy get gig tickets, get these t-shirts, whatever. But it's more about like the experience of it, rather than being like, just pay us to do what we're doing. I'd rather just have people there with us.
You kind of want the sustainability and possibility.
We want to be able to put as much time as possible into doing this, because it's really, really fun. So
because that's what funding
does. Exactly. If we can get to a place where this is our job, then that's wonderful, fantastic. Like Mort said, we'd obviously love to make tons and tons of cash, but we'd like to make tons and tons of music too. So
yeah, exactly.
It's the same with this podcast. Really, I still do have to go and do video jobs, and out there I work in removals with my mate. I love that job though, so I don't think I'd ever put it down.
Living a life then.
It's such a good job. But if I could just dedicate the time to all the edits it takes, being constant with it, I'd feel such a buzz from that, 100%.
And you could probably you could just start your own podcast network at this point. You know what I mean? Like you could just keep building them up.
Do you know what? I'd love to get into doing other people's podcasts. I've had a recent one, editing, just going and filming and editing, because you learn so much. Listening's great, but actively editing out, you've got to process what's being said, what's actually
real science,
fitting together, how the conversation's flowing. I've learned so much doing other people's recently.
It's unique, because like I think everyone has like a different way of approaching it. Like I mean, we've chilled out for like an hour before we've even started, just hanging out as people, whereas I feel like we've definitely gone into like interviews and stuff before where we've never met the person, and it's been dead awkward.
Is it quite contrived, or
sometimes you get like the whole like, so what does it mean when when you hear someone says I like your song, how does that make you feel? And it's like, how the fuck do you think it makes me like, it's great, I'm buzzing, what do you want from me? Like, that's a bait question.
It does feel a little bit like that sometimes. They want something out of it, whereas I feel why podcasts are thriving so strongly at the minute is because what we said earlier, that authenticity shines through. It's
just three blokes on a bus having a conversation like everybody does.
With a big sign saying free candy on the side.
Now Nathan, for your drinking game of every time you say New York,
we've got a lot of them. We've got bingo going on.
Does it work if we say it?
New York.
Because I was going to say, okay, let's get a little back into that New York moment.
The New York moment?
Yeah.
We could talk about New York.
What we should do is get people wanker, because we're about 10 minutes in. So by 20, we're going to be so interesting.
No, I think it was just because we were so hype about it. Like you said, it was one of those moments where you kind of go, oh shit. Like,
I do want you to paint me that picture of Mort walking into the room.
It was great. Yeah, go on.
What was it? An actualised
we were in a rehearsal studio. We were at Pirate, I think. And I was just like, right lads, I've been talking to Alex, and I think that he basically said, are we free in November? And I don't think we've got anything on. And they were like, yeah, I reckon. This is like April. I was like, so do you want to go and play a gig in New York? Because I've got a big gig in New York.
Yeah, imagine how that feels.
And it was, but literally, there's a YouTube video out there of that set, and we're playing at this place called Jimmy Ryan's, and there's literally a moment where like I just stop after the first song and I just go, "Hello, New York," and I literally was like, I had to say it, but I got like so hyped about it that I couldn't even. I wanted to like scream because I literally was just like, I'm in the Bronx, I'm playing, but
it hits you. It really does. It's like, you've got those milestones that you want to reach, and I didn't realise playing New York was on mine until we did it, and I was like, wow, we just played New York.
Yeah, that was and then got fucking hammered.
We got so we have a lot of people to thank for helping us out with that. Like, we borrowed instruments. One of the guitars was like, it seen some love. It was Road One, and it was referred lovingly to as the bag of smashed assholes. John Black, I love you for doing that.
It was knackered.
They had like a whip around in the bar. People who came to the set, and they were just collecting money, like, help these guys pay for their tickets home. We were like, no, we're going to buy alcohol. But that's also, that's fine. And we got quite a reasonable amount of money, so we just got absolutely battered.
Yeah, wow. I went up to pay our
I'm surprised I didn't die, to be honest.
Well, I went up to pay our bar tab.
Story, though.
We have a picture of Peters, who was our drummer at the time. He was just like leaned over a toilet, like crying.
Oh my god!
And like we've made him recreate it throughout. So I've got a picture of like me holding up the picture, and then in the background it's him recreating it, and I'm just going to keep doing that throughout.
Join the voice.
Inception of that.
I'm never going to let him forget it.
This is
so
incredible.
It was a glorious moment.
But no, the bartender wouldn't let us pay our tab.
Yeah.
I would, and he was like, so how many of you? And I was like, it's 4. And he was like, cool. And he just lined up 5 shot glasses.
Wow.
And just did shots with us. And he was just like, you did a great fucking job, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
this is the best story ever.
Yeah, but I was like, this is
it gets crazier than this.
Well, oh Christ, yeah. I mean, it was just like, this is how it happens. Like this is like what I wanted from the experience. And it was like, we did a great show. We had some really good time. Went out after. We're all within that community of like all these musicians.
Meeting so many people who are coming up to us and saying great set, guys, and we're talking to other musicians. Some phenomenal bands played that night, really good. I've got some of their stickers on my pedal boards and stuff. It was really good networking.
I'm actually hang on. I'm gonna double check everything.
Are you plugging here with some of the stickers?
No, it's you'll never pick it up on the camera, but it's a Duryea. So they're a band from the Bronx.
So good.
They're kind of like funk soul, but kind of like it's not like crazy funk. It's like really it's really catchy. So
what was the night in general like? What was going on?
It was like, I think they were dropping a single.
Yeah, it was a single release party, I think, for Conversing With Oceans, the guys who hosted us.
So the guy that actually brought you through, and he brought you in, it was his single launch, and he just goes, I want a band from the UK there.
Yeah, exactly that.
Why did he vibe so hard with you, do you know?
Because he's a phenomenal human being.
Because he's just a good dude.
Yeah, but Morton's not.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, man.
Trying to avoid it.
No, but I've said this before, and I don't think we've ever had a solid answer, because he could have had a local band who would have known more people and brought more people.
Yeah.
But he took a risk on us. I genuinely think it was because we have communicated with him like as a band and like we as people, and I think he said before, it's just like we all have that kind of energy of like, fuck yeah, I'm in a band.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, when you're like 13 and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a band, and you want to tell everyone about it.
Or 23.
Yeah, but nobody likes you when you're 23. But like, it was just stuff like that where we.
I'll get over that. Yeah.
No, we were just hype about it, and I think that translated of just like, even if we can bring no one to this gig, it's going to be great because we're going to have like a great time.
There.
Yeah, and I think he was a massive risk on his part, but he just like
he had the respect there and the appreciation of what you were, and it probably saw a lot of themselves in you.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. I think Alex Bondarev, the lead singer in Conversing With Oceans, he has been in other projects before, and one of them was music very similar to ours, kind of punk rocky alternative.
Moment's Worth,
called A Moment's Worth, and I've seen videos of him like crowd surfing and stuff. And that guy knows how to play a set, and I think it's one of those where you, like you said, you see yourself in somebody who's younger or at that new stage and going and exploring new stuff, and you're like, well, let's make it as big as we can for them. And it's been really amazing as we've grown in Nottingham to repay the favour as well, because people took chances on us to get us to where we are now.
Yeah.
And to be able to, we get approached by smaller bands than us who are just starting out on their journeys, and they're saying, we'd like to play this gig with you, and we get to put them on, and it's really rewarding, because I remember when we were brand new and we kind of sucked a bit. And, well, we suck a little bit.
Everyone does.
Look, that's part of the journey, right? It's okay to be in a band and to not be as good as you want to be. That's fine. Just enjoy it.
I think you have to go through this.
Well, we've all played bad gigs, man. I mean, if you want to get into bad gig stories, I could be here all day. But like,
yes.
But it's really nice to be able to return that fate. We are going to get into that. I've got some good ones. It's nice to be able to return it and kind of put people on and say, look, here's your shot. Have a great time, and ticket sales.
And that's my point, is like, I feel weird being like, oh yeah, get on our Patreon and like hang out with us or whatever, because ultimately I still feel like we're still kind of getting to the point where we're comfortable. I feel like in the last year, in the last like 6 months specifically, it's gone from, because we've written loads of new material and it's now starting to fall into place that we've got this live set coming up. So we're playing at Rescue Rooms in July.
Yeah.
So, but it's a headline gig.
23 July. Ticket link in my bio.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, there it is.
You've got your hype man with you as well.
No, but it's seriously, like, but it's we've had this minute where it's gone from being like, we had this kind of like raw energy of just like, whatever, we'll wing it and we'll go with it, and now it's like, no, we've really seriously rehearsed this, we've really worked on it, with like proper tuned in every second of everything.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but this set is going to be really, really fun. Like, really,
that's the point.
We've changed some stuff. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's like, so I feel like we're finally getting to the point now after 3 years of being like, this is what we wanted to sound like. This is how we wanted the show to go.
When you're all together going, right, we're going to formulate this band, Good Hustle, we're building it, was this where you wanted it to be? This set now is what you had in mind back then?
For me, yeah. I mean,
or was Good Hustle just like, do you know what? We're a bunch of mates. Should we just make some music?
At the start, yeah.
That's
when we got together, it was like, we like drinking, we like music. Let's do it. And you can hear that in our music.
And in the lyrics, yeah.
As much as, I guess there's a temptation for bands to kind of get rid of their old stuff from Spotify, because it's obviously, hopefully, going to be lower quality, right? But we have an EP, the first stuff that we released, and the EP is called Nobody Warned Me. And it's not as good as our current stuff, but I love it because of what it is. And it also, I think there's something to be said for keeping it there, right? Because if and when we get bigger and bigger and bigger, there's going to be people that look up to us inevitably, and that's going to be a wonderful feeling. But I would also like them to see our journey,
the stepping stone.
because if you can look up to a band and you want to be where they are now, and you look back and you say, well, look, they were at that position.
I do this all the time with artists. I like Scroobius Pip's a good one. Mike Skinner, The Streets, to be fair. Podcasts, I've looked at Joe Rogan's first ever podcast. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Like the mic quality that's just like the...
Oh, dude, it's so funny. He's just there, high as a kite, staring at
DMT, man.
Old school mic. Just go with... is it Brian Redban, I think, is with another comedian, but they're sat together, and he's trying to teach Joe Rogan what a podcast is.
Oh my god!
And it's just this pixelated shack of shit. And he's going, "What is this shit? So we're supposed to just talk now? Okay, I've been to the shops today, I suppose.
Orangutans, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
But no, that's it though. Like that's brilliant. That's what you want.
Watching the milestones.
Well, every musician, particularly now that the technology is available. In the 70s it was a bit more of a closed system, but now, like, I've got my recording setup in my room, which consists of
studio
in my room, in my house,
home studio, I think, bedroom thing.
It just consists of an audio interface, set of headphones, some wires for my guitar, and like a pedal board, and obviously a computer to record it on. And that's made it so much easier for, I guess you could call us independent musicians, to get into it. And so now it's like, I've kept all of the stuff that I've ever recorded. I've got like my first ever recordings on Logic, just because it's sentimental value, right? But it's really nice to look back on those things and think, wow, I was shit back then. But like now, I never want to be someone who's like, I've peaked, never want to peak. No one does. But the quality of the stuff that we're recording now, and like with my other side projects, it's jumped up because it's the learning process, right? So if you go into it and you're like, you know what, I want to write I don't know, something like Muse on my first time. Big Muse fan. I want to write something like Muse as like first time. You're not going to do it.
Never going to happen.
And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, the journey, that's where it is. That's the really
a gradual journey as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's hard and it's thankless at first.
With Scroobius Pip and so on, I love the pictures where they've got all the sheets, his mates are holding them up and he's doing like his vocal takes and so on.
It's charming,
and just looking through it all, and to be fair, I think Scroobius Pip's left a lot of his old stuff up.
Yeah.
Because me as a spoken word artist, I've looked back at it and gone, I mean, it's good or it's of okay quality, but I could do that. I could literally sort of recreate that, and that made me feel empowered.
Yeah,
because I thought this is amazing. Look where they've become. Because some of the first ones, he had an example on his film, just doing little cameo roles.
Yeah,
I'm like, what a beautiful thing where you've got example popping up.
Yeah, and who would have known? Like we were speaking about this earlier, but we tend to deify people who are good at things.
Yeah,
so it's like. Again, for the drinking game people who are out there, Tom York from Radiohead, one of Radiohead and Muse. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
But if you look at Tom York, the name Tom York, the name Radiohead, right? They have connotations, and we kind of tend to forget that Radiohead meant nothing as a word when they started out.
Yeah.
Muse meant nothing. Kaiser Chiefs meant nothing.
Yeah.
Why did you go for Kaiser Chiefs?
I wanted to make it look like I'm actually cultured rather than just listening to Muse and Radiohead.
You've got to be versatile.
Look,
on this podcast.
I'm not going to apologise. They're good bands.
Yeah.
But those words meant nothing.
And now they carry their own gravity.
Yeah, we impart meaning onto these things by doing the work. And so if you go into it and you're like, I'm going to write this song, I'm going to release it, and it gets like 15 views on Spotify, and you're like, oh, I wanted 1,000 or 100.
That's still 15.
It's 15 people have taken their time out of their day to go and look at your work, and some of them will have enjoyed it, and then they'll spread it, and you'll get better, because the creative curse is that when you finish a creative project, this happens to me all the time, I write something, finish it, and then I hate it. And it's a real curse, and it's hard to keep pushing that. But like the way I like to look at it is, let's take an Olympic sport, something that's like dexterity based, like the pommel horse thing, when they do like the flips and like gymnastics in general. Like, it's black magic to me. Like, these people are magicians. It's impossible for me to imagine myself doing that. But as a performer, you'll know, as a poet and a spoken word artist, what you do, from my perspective, because I don't know how to do it, is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable is the word. Yeah.
Good word. More words today from you.
Thanks to our sponsors.
This is what it's all about today. Learning with Mikey.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letter A.
But the point I'm making is that we as creative people are always going to hate what we create, because you learn through the process, and that means you always do it better next time. You've got to also remember that there are people out there who are going to love what you create, hopefully,
even if you think it's shit.
Even if you don't like it. And it's a difficult task to release something that you think you could have done better on, but you've got to do it.
You know what, Charlie Kirby's the worst for that.
Really?
He was on
releasing.
So at this point it'll be months ago when he was on, but like I have this sort of WhatsApp thing with him where he'll send me an idea, I'll send him an idea, and everything he sends me is like, oh, I want to work on something like this, and I'll go, you've got a finished song there, like, it's brilliant already. I'll chuck in a couple of lines or whatever, or sing or hum like a voice note to him.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, did that ever go anywhere? And he's like, nah, it was shit, wasn't it? And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was brilliant.
You, Charlie.
Like, I have to like shake him.
I feel you.
But that's the exact. I'm just the same. It's like, I'll write an idea. I'll think it's amazing in the moment. The next day, I'll come back and be like, oh, it's trash. What was I thinking?
It is hugely nuanced, isn't it, and balanced, because you've got to know who you are, what you are as an artist, and what you want out of your artistry,
and what you want to say on any particular project as well.
The thing with Charlie is, as well, he's got a big business out of it, in essence. So in some term, he's got to have the most polished articles out there for people to look towards, because maybe that's even the clientele that he wants to approach, is those that are going to only produce the archetypal tracks, the best outcomes.
And as you get better, the pressure to be better increases as well.
Completely. So I suppose a part of his look on things is going to be slightly different to ours, because for me now, looking at some of the stuff I created 3-4 years ago, I just smile and laugh. But it is literally a laugh to me, because I've said it a few times on this podcast, it really is a passion project. The moment it started dipping into a profession or getting paid for it and going into schools and doing X, Y and Z, it got a bit too serious and then lost a little bit of its love in in honesty.
Yeah.
And those ones of people, I'm very balanced with it, who do decide to keep all their old material. That's where I steer towards, because I feel that honesty in it. I feel, that's me in an artist. So I understand everyone's process. I've got really good friends like Joey Collins. He had a massive moment where he's like, I think he woke up in bed and just said, right, I'm deleting everything.
I've been there, Joey. I've been there.
And we had a great discussion about it, and I totally empathised, or maybe more sympathised for what he was saying. But I didn't share that feeling, because I, as you said perfectly and eloquently, I really like the process. I love watching people's journeys. I think that's what music is to me. And
development is life, isn't it? Change is what, like, if everything was the same, nothing would have, not to get too esoteric. Esoteric, there's a new word.
Esoteric
and existential combined. But not to take it into that realm too much, but change is what essentially existence is.
What you
can't try and deny that.
You just turned into Jeff Goldblum for a second. It was just like, everything is life has changed.
You're harshing on my mellow here.
Things are if nothing changed,
I was going more Alan Watts. That's what I was getting.
Thank you. There you go.
True philosophy.
I've made some remixes of his speeches that I'll never release.
That's my favourite. Like that's
it's just so satisfying.
That's the lo-fi hip hop beat. Is you just need a quote from him over like a nice little drum track.
And it works with everything.
We've been talking about releasing a lo-fi kind of project from Good Hustle for ages, and we actually have some other tracks there.
Well, mate, I mean,
it's
now
not
you
going to
speak my language.
I know.
There is a collab coming on here.
Exactly.
I would love to collab with you on something like that.
Rooted.
But that's the thing, is like it's weird when you like stumble across. Okay, so that's an interesting thing, because we are primarily rock musicians. Bad rock musicians.
Musicians are loaded term.
But at the same time, I can happily sit down and listen to like a lo-fi beat or whatever and listen to it. But then also, when you've got like this dead philosopher talking about stuff, and you're just like, actually, I can get on board with this.
Some depth in it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he has a whole thing about teaching creativity. Like, I can't remember the exact quote, but he was essentially saying, like, you can't teach people to be creative. You can kind of give them the building blocks to find their own way to do something, but you can't teach creativity as a thing, because it just doesn't exist. Like, there's no way to do it.
How do you feel about that, Mike? How did you get involved with being creative yourself? Was it always like you were a kid? I know from seeing some of your other episodes, I know you were a little bit troubled in school with kind of having your own ideas and way of doing things. I feel like a lot of creative people are like that.
I think there was, at school, that was probably what I was designed to be, as creative, and it did get bashed out of me in so many ways. Because I didn't fit the system, and I wasn't designed to be a part of being told what to do and how to do it. Then when I actually did excel at something, it wasn't noticed or recognised. So creativity, I remember getting a thrill at school all the time. As soon as it was, you're going to design a poster, you're going to do some drawing, you're going to do this, there was a part side of me that was going, this is what I want, this is what I can do, I'm going to let myself flourish here. But then I'd literally just be too naughty or said something, and I'd get whipped out of class. And I truthfully mean that. They didn't know what they were repressing there. So I don't know if you know my story, but I just went on. And I won't go through all that story because I don't want to bore these listeners. But I eventually got asked to leave my school, get out of the system, went travelling, went on a journey, and poetry found me. And I remember that burn again. It was just there. It was, I need to do this.
It's indescribable,
And you can't really teach that. You can give people... I think everybody's got a story. Everybody's got something to say, and there's a way of expressing it in whatever way they want. And we always sometimes put creativity here and passions over here. And there's some people that are passionate in what we wouldn't see as creative, but it's highly creative. I've got a mate that's an incredible in electronics and so on, and Chrissy does technology and certain things. I'm just saying words here now, but there's people that are really creative in their fields, so it's just letting that blossom. And I remember listening to an Alan Watts, and he said you can't teach creativity, and there was another part where he goes, sometimes he's driving and he gets the most beautiful symphony in his head, but he can't recreate it. He goes, tough luck. That's the cards that have been drawn.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think people, when they've found their passion, the thing that they're designed and supposed to be doing, it's beautiful to watch.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a powerful feeling.
Is, yeah. So to see that spark when someone kind of figures it out as well, or when they're performing, and you see someone on stage and they've got that about them, when you can tell they love what they're doing, they love the experiences they're having, and they love sharing it with other people. It's one of those incredible things that you just can't describe until you do it.
Yeah.
There's a guy. It's a weird thing because like at the time I was like, that's a weird dude, and then it's now like 4 years later and I'm still thinking about him. There was this guy who showed up to Rescue Rooms like open mic, like acoustic rooms on a Monday, and he showed up. So it's like a nice acoustic thing. There's a couple of bands or whatever, and I couldn't tell you a single person who played that night because this guy showed up dressed as Predator. Right, so he had the dreadlocks on, he had the full suit of armour, had the mask on.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He just showed up and played this like trippy like instrumental music.
Yeah.
And he was just lost in it. And he was and I was just like, I don't get it, I don't understand it, but you're in it. You're in the zone, and that's awesome. Yeah. And I just looked at him just like, fucking fair play to you, mate. You dress up as Predator, you do it. Like,
and you've got to respect that. You don't get it, but him doing him to its fullest, there's going to be so many others that do get it.
Absolutely.
Because they're in his tribe, their understanding of that. And when you're open to it all and you go, I get it, because that you're doing you, it's such a beautiful world to experience.
Yeah.
Like one of my really good mate of mine, have you heard of Shruzik?
No.
Is, again, psychedelic, experimental, avant-garde.
Right.
But he just does the we've made the funniest video recently. It's really good. I'll send it over. But at first, I had to give a question. I felt, what are you doing? Like, what are we putting out here?
Yeah.
There was one where we were going through Nottingham, and he's nearly naked with his pants on, with Motormouth on a leash.
Oh my god!
And he's crawling around.
I love that guy.
And they're just doing the wildest things. But the more I've listened to his tunes, the more I've worked with him, I've just gone, this is totally you.
It's his passion.
And I'm fully understanding of it now, and it is the most rewarding feeling to experience, know who you are and what you're about, and then see somebody in their flow, and you go, I'm in, I'm with.
That's it. That's exactly it.
I had like a bit of an awakening kind of moment where I heard so there's a band called Pup. They're like a Canadian like punk rock band. And then another band called Pew Pew Pew.
Pew Pew Pew. I get it.
Such a good story coming on this.
But like I heard those two bands and I was like, so Pup are basically talking about, well, their first couple of albums is like, we're in this small town in the middle of Canada, and like it was just about that basically.
Okay.
And Pew were just talking about how all they wanted to do was eat pizza, get drunk, and like go out skating and go to gigs. That's all they wanted to do.
Nice.
And I heard those two things and I just felt it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where I was like, that's the kind of music I want to make. And so I've been funneling that into hustles for ages.
You know what though? When you say that's the kind of music you want to make,
I'm worried. Where's this going?
It's not a bad thing. We did write a track like that called Rent.
Yeah.
And then we played it with one of those bands.
Well, yeah, we played it with Pew. We supported them. We opened for them.
You've lived some lives.
That was nuts.
It's one of the most rewarding, wholesome, kind of the circle is complete moments.
But that was the kind of thing, was like, that was the last time we played that song live as well. That's the last gig we did, actually, as that. As that version of the band. And, but that was the thing where I was like, I can move past that now and just do my own thing, because like that was kind of where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And now with like the lads, we've sort of moved away and done our own thing.
I'm going to ask you this though: if you had to pick one, New York or Pew?
Can we do Pew York?
You've got to pick one again to relive.
I've got to. I mean, much as I love Pew, I'd have to go for New York, just because. I think
the aftermath.
Yeah, well, just
because the hangover was glorious.
No, but we've still got like a community there, and we still so like this Spotify has these. We mentioned earlier, like, so Spotify obviously shows you specifically where someone's listening to. It doesn't show who they are, but it says like, you have this person checking you out.
I'm hitting America for some reason.
It happens, doesn't it? You just
I think
end
it's
up
like
there.
Transylvania or something.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, so like we have just a group of listeners in the Bronx just religiously listening to stuff, and I'm like, it's over a year and a half ago and they're still going for it.
It's incredible that we had that kind of impact on them. That night was just amazing anyway, so everyone had a great time. But it's great that we turned up, we gained some fans, and now they're loyal fans. That's a crazy thing to me to say. Like, it took me a really long time when we started the band and we started to get a little bit of momentum. For the longest time, I wouldn't say our fans because it didn't make sense, and I didn't want to. I was like, how do I phrase this without sounding like a douchebag? And eventually,
Oh my God.
The hustlers.
We talked about that. We were like, maybe we could call them that.
Yeah,
and then I was like, no, we're not. I just was like, we're not naming the fan base. Like, that's such a weird
not
thing.
yet, at least. But you kind of get to the point where eventually, look, we do have fans, and we love every single one of them. So
that's the thing. Is like, so we have these. I guess you could just call them super fans. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. Is like, it's one person in one tiny part of the world.
I was going to say, it's tiny towns, you said, wasn't it?
Like, so we have Villanders, which is in between Italy and Germany, and there's just one guy, and he's listening to us all the time.
Really?
Or like, and it's just one dude, and it's one listener, and I don't know whether or not it's the same guy over and over, or it's just like moving around.
I bet he has loads of parties and he's just showing all his mates all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to listen to these guys.
Yeah.
I have no
If
idea.
you're listening to
no
this,
idea how he found it.
Shout out.
Yeah, exactly. We're like,
Do you not know his name or anything
Nothing,
about him?
We
we
just
have no
know that
idea.
there's somebody in Villanders.
yeah, and like same in Taipei as well. So in Taiwan.
Maybe they play it on a megaphone in the whole of the town,
I'd
so
love
everyone
to
can
think
hear it at once.
Until somebody proves otherwise, that's what's happening.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know what? We sent an email. We found the local council email address of Villanders, and we were like, look. So we
come and
wrote an
play a
English
game.
version and a German version to make sure that they really got what we were saying. And we were like, look, we know somebody in your
Somebody loves
amazing
us.
town is listening to our music. At some point when this situation with coronavirus is over, we would love to come and play a gig for all of you. No response.
No
No,
response.
not yet. Not
No,
yet.
not yet,
But,
not
you
yet.
know,
Fingers crossed.
We've been in the height of Corona time.
We
We've
are,
had
I know.
stuff on
We
their
are,
plate,
yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
sure next online it was like, sort out Corona, good hustle.
We are going to play a gig
We
there,
sure-
and we're
we were
going to
just
go
like-
skiing
Live
drunk.
aid gig.
It's like in the Alps, and we were just like, we will show up and play a gig for free because
Yeah.
this is just bizarre. But like, there's a guy in Taiwan, the same thing, just one listener over and over and over. And it's
Can
like
I,
a couple of
Brazilians as
please
well.
have me as your videographer for when you start taking on the world and
Oh yeah, do the
everything.
world tour.
I'm coming on
Yeah,
with you
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
This
You'll
is
be right there with us.
meant to happen.
Yeah.
Advice episode from it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, I'd love that. But I mean, like, I think now that things are starting to open back up and it's getting to the point where people are feeling more comfortable with stuff, I'm slowly just like, oh, but what if we did this? What if we went to this place? And what if we went to this place? And,
yeah.
Because we're like working with people. Like, we've recently worked with, so I can't name them,
Yeah,
but we've recently worked with a singer from Boston, who's amazing and has like quite a big following themselves. And it's one of those where I'm like, until that track is out,
this
I
real?
can't talk about it. But yeah, like I didn't believe that it was going to happen. I literally wrote this song and was like, I want someone like this person. Like I was like, I
Because
will
in your
write
head you're
it.
going, there's no... They're not
And then
doing
a real
it.
article comes up and you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I was like, no way on earth she'll do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want them to do it though. So I sent an email, but then I was like, but if I don't get a response in
I've
2
loved
weeks.
this episode, lads. All the way through it for you. I'm really getting a buzz every other
Just like-
minute. I'm going,
That's what I'm
this is
saying,
so
it's
exciting.
It's been a
Hype.
wild ride, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't slow down.
Yeah, but I literally
Really?
was like, if I don't get a response in 2 weeks, then we'll move on. We'll
Yeah.
ask someone local or whatever. And I got a response in 2 hours.
Matey.
Just like, and it was send me the track. I'd love to work with you. I'm listening to your Spotify now.
Oh, boys.
dude.
And I lost it. I literally, and then for the next 2 weeks as well. So I sent her the track, and I was like, if you could get it back to me by the end of the month. And we got a response in 3 weeks. And until I got the email back from her with the files in it, I was like,
It's not real. It's not real. It's not real.
it's not happening.
What happened when you opened them?
I lost it.
Really?
I literally sat
There
down
was
and
some
listened to it,
celebrations.
and it was like
She nailed it too.
she absolutely nailed it. It's one of those
Really?
where like exactly how I'd written it,
Yeah.
she'd done it and better, and then added her own little flourishes in a way that only she could. and I had
It's
this
gonna
minute
be
of
great when it releases.
yeah, and so that's the kind of thing. Is like we've been working on all of this stuff for so long, and we've not been able to show any of it because there's no point putting our music now because we want a gig. We want to have like this. So the difference in our like setup now is it's gone from we're going to play these songs. We're going to play this song and then this song and then this song. Whereas now it's like, no, this is the show.
Yes.
There is lighting, there is video, there is, there's everything.
You get to be a bit more creative now, don't you?
Yeah.
Because here you go, we've got a set list, this is what we're doing, let's have it tight, lads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're really thinking of the image of what it's all going to be together.
We've kind of gone from pub to venue. And not to understate the importance of a pub step. That is what made us who we are. You've got to do that.
Some of the best, yes. They're the most fun.
Playing live is really hard, as it turns out, and you've got to learn to do that, and you've got to make some mistakes, and we've made plenty. But we're now stepping into the venue stage, and with a whole new set of mistakes to make. So it's been, I don't know, I can't describe it. I mean, speaking of people getting back to you about your stuff, I had this incredible moment for my birthday. So thanks to Mort for setting this up. But
hey, it was all of us.
I'm a massive, massive fan of this guy who's a YouTuber and a musician called Danny Avidan. His stage name is Danny Sexbang.
Yeah, in a band called Ninja Sex Party.
And they make parody songs and sing about dicks and unicorns. And
mate,
they're amazing.
It's all comedy stuff. But
you've sold it to me at Dick's.
You know what? That's how I became a fan. Yeah. But Danny is the most wholesome, talented, incredible person, so motivational, really, really great guy. And so for my birthday, the guys found him on Cameo. And so they sent our music to him, and he made a personalised birthday.
No. Different. Okay. I'm cutting in.
Yeah.
So we got him a Cameo because I was like, I want him to say happy birthday to Nate, and it was one of those where are we gonna? All right, screw it. I was like, right. Because he's quite open about his own mental health and like how he's dealt with stuff and how he, as a writer and as a musician and as a comedian and whatever, like how he deals with stuff. And so I just said, look, I think Nate's had like a bit of a rough go of it. Can you offer him some advice, see what you could do? And he was like, yeah, of course I can. And I just said, oh, he's in this band as well. And I basically said, like, it was from our like friend group, so it was our band and our mates. And so I got this video back a week later, and it was I'm choking up. It's 4.5 minutes long.
I actually will.
So
I did
4.5 minutes.
Cry when I saw
and I'm
it.
like, I did not expect this at all. I expected a 30-second, happy birthday, mate. I know you're having a rough one. I hope you're good. He starts off and he's like, right, you should read this book. You should watch this TED talk. You should do and he do this. And
mate, you get me here.
And then
he how wholesome this guy is.
And then he
really
leans
cares.
off camera and he pulls back his laptop and he's got our artwork on it. And he's like, and I'm on your Spotify and this, and I lost it. I was literally sat in my kitchen and I was keeping it a secret from everyone because I'd just gone, can you just chuck me 15 quid for Nate's birthday? And and what's it for? Can't tell you. So I hadn't told anyone, and I was sat in my kitchen, watched the video, and I stood up and I went, what the fuck?
Oh,
I lost it. I absolutely lost it. Because he was like, great band, great sound. You guys sounds like you're having so much fun. Whatever it is, you guys have it, and you really need to stick with doing it. I lost it because I was just like, that was like
to get that vindication from somebody who has taken that path and who I respect so much. I've been following this guy for years, throughout his journey, and just to get that praise from him,
it was nuts. It was so good.
I mean, like that's something that happened, and it's crazy.
I got all short breath there. I was going, this is a beautiful story. I don't know if I'm envious or jealous at the minute of you guys as a community and as a band. It's absolutely stunning what you've got together, and that is why Good Hustles works so well.
Yeah.
Because what he was explaining then, the energy comes through, the realness comes through. You just proper good mates, aren't you? You just really are there for one another, and you take the piss because that's what we all do.
Relentlessly, relentless.
I'm going to tell the OnlyFans story.
Oh man,
so we obviously we had a bit of a reshuffle with who was playing what in the band.
The top's coming off of this.
For the OnlyFans. No, but literally, so I walk in and so we got Harvey Duddles, who plays drums for us now. Our old drummer moved up to play bass. I moved on to guitar, and Nathan didn't do anything. So
I don't do anything in the band.
He doesn't. He just stands there and looks pretty.
I'm not actually plugged in most of the time.
He's just miming.
Guitar's not for everybody.
It makes you look good though.
It does, yeah.
It does.
Look at that shirt.
For anyone wondering why I look like a giant flower, this is the shirt I wear to every gig. So anyone who's seen that, you'll know why I'm wearing this.
Part of the ritual.
It's seen some love with all the.
I don't know what my excuse is.
Mate, I love it. Your outfit's just
man.
a top tier today.
Yeah, I'm here. So good.
I look like the back of there. Actually, I've just realised.
Yeah, you do.
I'm
Your You got the 90s aesthetic.
If I'd have sat there, it would have just been my mouth moving.
You know, when you're done with that jacket, can you turn it into a bus seat and send it back to 1990?
I love how you're just laughing, but you're like,
yeah, all the
this
way
is my
through,
podcast.
My eyes are glazing.
All right, show's over.
Turn the camera off.
Don't worry, I'm building up for a big response back to that.
There's your target.
You big orchard.
But then we got this guy in, we got Harvey in, and I think after the, half an hour into the first rehearsal, we were like, this is the guy. Like he knows. I think because he was a fan of the music beforehand, so we knew him like through.
Oh yeah, we were like, oh, can you let us play this? He's like, yeah, I warm up to this song.
Yeah, I literally
Wow,
I played those tracks to warm up, and then we're like, okay, cool. And then we just wrote. So we got rid of most of the stuff that he listens to and just wrote new stuff with him because it felt better, like working with him on stuff. But I think probably our third rehearsal, I kind of walked into the studio and I was like, so Harv, I'm gonna let you in on something, right? So we have a band OnlyFans account. And so obviously we don't have like the name of the band or whatever, but so what it is we all, and I was stoned, like, and I'm so bad, I have no poker face, and I was like, so we have a band's OnlyFans account, and so I mean if you're comfortable, but I figured like as a new member it'd be really good to get you on camera. I mean, would you be up for it? And he's like looking there and he's like.
I'm coming to a cult.
Just like, can I get to the door before he does?
Yeah. Right. If
Do I really need to take my drums home?
I've got these two over here, so I've got to do some karate kick that way.
Brad
He just throws a stick at each person. But to his credit, he was just like looking around, and I just lost it. I cracked up. I know. I was like, I've gone.
Yeah.
But like for a brief second, I think he was like,
we did have him.
I think he was like, if it would be funny, yeah. Like if it was like, you know what I mean? Just because I was like, for the crack, it would be well funny.
It was very brave because he could have gone in so many directions with that.
He's
just like, I've got one already.
Turn him around and he's just completely naked.
Oh my god!
Just before you finished OnlyFans, we've got an only.
Right, I'm a porn star before I'm a musician.
Yeah.
That's how it's always going to be.
No, I think we were like.
Have you guys ever thought of doing
porn?
A pod?
No.
Porn podcast, but having that as an extra piece of content because you do so much weekly. It seems like you've got a new story emerge and something's coming out. Would you look at doing a podcast then?
I mean, podcast we've talked about doing it before, but
oh mate, please, will you please?
I've been trying to make this happen relentlessly.
I'm desperate.
I've been really trying to make it happen.
What we're saying is like when we're just hanging out, it's just like it's that natural banter kind of thing, and that's fine. But I feel like if we sit in front of a mic, then it would just be us. It would just be four blokes talking, not especially about anything interesting, but occasionally it would be funny. And those podcasts are so niche that I'm just like, no one would want to listen to it.
It's also nice to have. I don't want to sound like a douchebag saying this, like as if we're celebrities, but it's nice to have time off camera as well. We also are best mates, and we've always said, we're best mates before we're mates. Yeah, and it's nice to.
It sounds so cheesy. But like,
it's nice to be able to relax without the paparazzi following at night. It's nice to be able to,
Will you just give them a break, guys?
We make a point of spending time together as friends because that's what creates the energy in the live session. That's what spurs on the creativity when we're writing. And it also creates all these amazing stories we get to tell. So.
Yeah.
But there is sometimes where you hear people having that discussion of, oh, wouldn't it be great if people listen to what we're talking about? And really you go, nobody would
Wouldn't
want
it be great if our fans cared about us beyond our music?
But honestly, with you guys and the way you speak and the stories you tell, because it's got an emotional roller coaster behind it, either really funny or really heartfelt. And hearing that, I think for your fans, it would be a beautiful side hustle.
I was like, I could see you loading it. You were just like, I'm getting there. That's so good.
Hit with the hustles pun. Had to do it to him.
No, we've talked about it, but I think it's maybe down the line. We'll look at it, but I'll let you know because you can
I'm coming
it.
for that.
If people want to see it,
I mean,
for the fans listening, if you want to see it, petition us to do it. We're trying to gauge interest here. If you guys want to see it and you think you'd be interested in it, let us know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like we do a lot
in the comments below.
Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your
like, comment, subscribe,
rate 5 stars. For all your OnlyFans, this is. That's all it's going to be.
Exactly.
Oh my god, we're just at the cheapest OnlyFans. No, but like we've
Can
talked
we please
about
have that in a Spotify bio?
What we have the cheapest OnlyFans.
It's one way of selling yourself.
Yeah,
we are cheap.
We are cheap. I mean, let's put it
one
this
thing
way.
we can offer.
Our gig tickets are £7 each at rescue rooms, right? but for 99 pence, you can see some balls. I'm never doing it. I wonder
what you can get for $7.99 at a gig.
Yeah, a gig ticket and some balls. I literally, oh my god.
Backstage.
Yeah, but like I've got people from like my work are kind of come to this gig, and I'm just like, so I'm like, what have we done at previous shows that probably isn't appropriate to do in front of people I work with?
Shirts should probably stay on them.
Shirts should probably stay on.
Well, for you, I'm always going to take my.
But like we literally, yeah, we were recording like a bit of promo stuff and whatever just for this gig, because like that's the big thing, is like we're so excited about it and we're just like, we want people to come and whatever.
Is it sold out?
No, but.
Okay, do you think it's going to be? Is it?
I reckon we'll get there.
Very possible.
Just because like we're pushing it so hard, but then we've also got like Distant Blue, My Pet Foxes, Adam Zariba, and they're all insanely talented people getting out there
and got their followers.
I remember seeing My Pet Foxes the first time like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I was like, I really want to play a gig with these guys, and here we are.
And here we are. It happens. If you say it, it will be so.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about it, and like so Pete, like Will Peters, but I just call him Pete, whatever.
Yeah.
But as he was like answering a question, I was stood like around the corner, and he stood in front of this set of bushes, and I was just like, this will really upset him. This will be really funny. And I just stripped off and just walked past him. And it was just the jump. I have no idea what came over me. I was just like, it'll be funny. So I just walked up to him, gave him a little hug from behind, and then walked off. And he was just like, it's just horrified.
Yeah. I used to do that to my mates when I go and answer the door. I'm going out from the shower, and I'll just be like, there, bet nothing
just on your head. Yeah. You got the Saturday night going on.
Sorry, I took so long. I was putting a towel on my head.
I'd wait for them to say something, but it was always me that had to break the ice. Here we go. I learned it from a Ricky Gervais though.
Brilliant.
Have you ever listened to his podcast with Carl Pilkington?
Yeah, so good.
That was how he used to go and answer the door to Carl. So I thought, I'm going to try that one day. It works a treat.
It's so good. I left my phone. We were in a hotel a while ago. I left my phone on the side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen the Welcome to Chili's like Vine.
Okay, yeah, I know where you're at.
So there's literally just some kid in his underwear just in front of a mirror going, welcome to Chili's. And I was in the shower in this hotel room, and I came back, and then like 3 days later I'm just going through my phone, and I've got a video of Nathan just in his underwear, just in front of a mirror, just saying, welcome to Chili's. I was like, what? And it's one of these where I'm like,
what is happening
here? I never felt appropriate like sharing it to social media or whatever.
Oh, but you did share it in our group chat.
I definitely sent it to everyone that I know, yeah. But it was one of those where I was like, what the fuck just happened? What is this?
Are you all very, very similar? The four of you?
No, I'd say
I think
sense of humour, we're all degenerate idiots.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things we have in common. I think we can sort of sit
quite varied, though, I'd say.
Yeah, I think we can sit in a room and get on, but I think we all... I don't know. I think we're vastly different.
What does make the recipe work so well, though? Like, if you're adding everybody into the soup...
I compromise.
What?
Yeah,
really?
compromise. I think it's that...
Give me the traits and attributes of each one, and do a little dissection of it.
So have you ever seen that meme, every band has the same 4 members?
Okay, yeah.
So... I'm not going to do it visually because people who are listening to this on Spotify, but there's like a raccoon in a tiara, there's an alligator that's on fire, there's a cat eating a pizza crying, and what's the other one? It's like a skunk in a bin or something.
It's a possum in a trap, and so like that's it. I am the cat. I'm the cat eating pizza and crying.
I'm gonna. Do you know when I cut out the little bit of podcast? I'm just gonna have this.
No context.
Without the question.
I'll send you this picture. I am the cat crying.
Yeah.
You are the raccoon in the dress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because so like I'm the sensitive point. Whatever. But like no, all I do is whinge and eat pizza and drink.
Right. Okay. You need that.
Pete loves it. Nathan loves attention.
So, I do. I'm not even going to lie.
Hello.
I mean, look at
who I am.
Look at that hair. Pete is absolutely the possum in the trash can, just because he's just constantly a mess. I mean,
does he know he's the possum in the trash
he does.
can?
Yeah.
My favourite thing is he's like,
at least he's aware of it.
No, because he's just we're gonna get on the sesh. We're gonna get on the sesh, and he has 3 beers and he's done.
just dead. One of the reason that we always
we've all got mate like that.
The reason that we always talk about him in the sense to do with bins is because when we were in New York, take a shot. When we were in New York, the morning after we woke up and we got that great picture of him leaning over the toilet, chundering and crying, and he he woke up and he came to us and he was like, I was the one who was like, oh yeah, let's go out and get wrecked, and then I just fucking binned myself.
Oh my god! But yeah, then and Harvey's the alligator on fire, just because he's like so chill normally, and then the second he starts playing, he's a like,
beast. He's an incredible drummer.
Dude.
Yeah.
Do you have the organizer though, the one that's sort of piecing it all?
I'm the so like
probably more. Yeah.
I'm the diplomat. I'm the Diplomort.
Has he ever said that before?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Oh,
I didn't give myself that nickname.
Gutted. I thought that was going to be a live and exclusive on the old Farm Boss.
No, we're not. No. We're not funny.
But I have to make sure everyone's happy. I have to make sure that every idea for a song comes in, and I kind of go like, even if it doesn't work or I think it won't work, I'm like, right, we'll try it. We'll go from there, and I have to make sure that we do that. Pete is very much the ideas man. Like he's very much like, we need to do this, and this, and this, and this, and like, we need to do merch, we need to do promo, and he's really pushing for stuff. And then I think that like I kind of help organise as much as I can. But yeah, I mean, Harvey is the most chill person about everything.
Because there must have been a lot of bands to exist that had the sound absolutely perfect, and if they had this recipe it would have been global, but just because they didn't have the burning cat, the alligator, the possum, all in the right,
these are the things we don't want you to know.
All in the right combination, that's what's killed it off really.
Well, like you need to have that balance. Like if you don't get on, like I said, we can just hang out. So before we were a band, like Nate and I were friends, we were all friends with Harvey. I mean, I met Pete through the band, but then he now lives with my girlfriend, and like we've been mates for years, just outside of the band. And yeah, we all knew Harvey. So it was one of those where I think we can exist without the band being the thing that we have in common. So the second so the second there's a lull in the music ideas, we can just talk shit.
So if Simon Cowell came over and was going, guys, you're absolutely incredible, but gotta get rid of this one.
Get rid of the singer. That's fine. I'm gone. Don't worry about it.
We've been trying that for a long time. Trust me, it's difficult.
Genuinely, for the longest time, I was like, I don't want to be the lead singer. I want someone else in. And we just, out of necessity, started using me. That's genuinely the only reason I'm still.
That's really what's been holding us back.
Me and Nathan genuinely were talking.
We did have a bit of fangirl over you, to be honest.
Is this a compliment? You have vastly improved in the last few years. As in, really good. And how? Why? What have you been doing? Have you been getting singing lessons online or anything like that? But is it just the more doing of?
So I was genuinely thought, is this a compliment? You're shit.
Like, you're less shit.
You're less shit.
No, I really like where you've got to.
No,
I'm not saying enjoy your voice before, but where it's become is going, I can really vision
really
this on a
hits
stage.
exactly what we need with the current setup as well. When you hear the new stuff, it just locks in perfectly.
So I've never done singing lessons like since I had singing lessons when I was a kid, but besides that, whatever. But like, I think over the last year specifically, I've tried to get in shape. That's definitely a thing. I'm definitely not, but like I do more like cardio and whatever.
Okay.
So now that's like help my lung capacity.
I didn't expect this to be part of the answer, but I'm liking
genuinely, that's the main. I would say that's the main thing. Legitimately, like
just looking after your body, looking after yourself.
Lung capacity, warming up your vocals as well. Because I never used to do it. I used to just pound a couple of pints. It would be two pints pre-gig. 1 pint on stage, and then 2 pints after the gig. But like
16.
50 shot. But like that would be my warm up. Because I'd be too nervous to actually do anything, so I'd get drunk to feel confident.
Same.
You're just as
I'm bad with nerves. I have to get drunk.
Does this mean you've just started taking it a bit more serious then? You've gone, where's my downfall or these bad traits, and I'm going to really work on this now so that we can get the best out of this band.
I feel like there was a few moments when we were gigging all the time. We were like doing, I think we had like in the space of 6 weeks we had 6 gigs. That's fine. If we're going to tour, that's fine, we can do that. But like at the end of like everything after the third gig, I'd be like, and we're good, and it would just click.
It takes its toll.
Yeah.
I had blood all over my guitar after one of them. I've got a picture of it.
Oh yeah, because you cut your hand open.
Cut my hand open mid-gig and blood everywhere on my guitar.
It was
on
a
my
white guitar.
Olympic white strap.
Oh, mate. Looked pretty badass, though.
It did look metal as
ruined
hell.
the strings, but it looked amazing.
Yeah.
And for a while, actually, for the next gig afterwards, I changed the strings but didn't clean the blood off because I want people to think I'm cool.
Oh god! But no, that's it.
Don't you dare get that blood off there.
I need it.
Cleaning it for you. Stop.
And then coronavirus rolls around, and it's just like, here, scrub it.
Cuts himself just to get a bit more splattered on.
Yeah, man. I think it was this minute of like whatever I'm doing isn't working, and I need to do something to make it better. And so I just I tried different techniques of warming up. I tried, but genuinely running is like the biggest thing. Is that like I've gotten better at running because I still hate it.
Yeah.
But I genuinely this is my thing. I'll put a podcast on.
Yeah.
And I'll run, and I'll listen to the.
Forrest Gump it.
Yeah, literally. I was running.
That was really good.
I love that.
That was too good.
Thank you. I love that movie. But literally, I'll just put on a podcast and I'll run, and I'll concentrate on the conversation and forget that I'm running.
That's
and
a
then
great
I'll just go.
attitude. Yeah, I've done that before. Where I've got a treadmill now, and I've literally put the TV about 6 inches from my face.
Yeah.
And I just go. And the other day, the England rugby was on, and
Trying to outrun them.
I did England
scored
rugby and then tipping point, but just having an escapism.
Yeah.
I ended up being on there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And Chrissy came back in and went, are you seriously still going? She's like, I've got to keep going. Tipping points on. I've got a good score at the minute. Just imagine me on this, babe. We'd be millionaires.
But that's genuinely it. So thank you for saying I've improved. That's nice to know that it's noticed.
Did you hear that on a podcast of that advice to go try running, try getting better lung capacity? Did you research it?
No, boredom. This is all luck. I'd love to say that I was like, I went out of my way and I made a real effort.
You missed a trick there, mate. Like a professional.
No, what happened was a gap in employment. So I finished one job in the middle of February, was supposed to start one at the start of March. That got pushed back because the interview got pushed back. So I then did the interview again, or the in-person thing rather than the online thing. And then coronavirus happened the week after, which meant that my start date got pushed back from the end of March to June. So I had 3 months of just at home, unemployed, doing nothing, and I couldn't start another job because I already had one. I had the job, but I wasn't getting paid and I wasn't doing the work.
Dude.
So I was like, I have 3 months to do something, and so I was like, fuck it, I'll start running. I'll just run.
And then one day you went to the microphone, put on this massive voice, and thought, where's that come from?
No, but I felt the difference, like literally the diet, like my chest voice. I felt the tension.
Yeah.
And I
think this is really good advice for young artists, though.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're aware of you and your good bits and bad bits, then you can check in with yourself and go, well, let's try this out.
Yeah, fix it.
I think when I got into the music scene, and it was substance fueled, it was everything imaginable.
That's how it starts.
And living on a farm, we called it the farm nights. And it was mainly with the Nottingham lot, but Unknown Era was coming down, Motor Mouth was coming down,
big fan,
all the lot.
They're in our rehearsal studio.
Oh really?
Unknown Area. We see them like once a week.
Listening into.
They're awesome.
It's great. You hear it through the wall, and you're like, okay, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat that.
It is such a full sound, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, fantastic.
Concrete Rose lads, everybody, and it's because I bloody love the Nottingham lot.
Yeah.
But we'd be coming all the time, and it'd be sort of like a recycling. So Motor Mouth, it's like see you in a bit. He'd go off, and then another set come in.
Yeah.
And for myself, I wasn't very conscious of that, so I was just burning the candle.
Yeah.
And then I go to stage performances and forget my lines.
Yeah.
I just not give the energy that I know the poems needed at the time.
Yeah.
And the moment I checked in with myself and went mind, body, soul, right, okay, the mind's being fed because I'm being with my friends all the time, and I've got that good feeling. The soul, I'm doing my creativity, I feel full, but body was just getting wrecked.
Yeah.
And the moment I said to myself, do you know what? I'm going to go away, work on myself a little bit, back to the gym, because that was what my existence was before creativity was rugby, boxing, football, every day, all day. So I played that again and I found the balance in my life and it really did work. I went back on a stage, I felt fit, I liked even the clothes that I had on. I looked and thought, oh, this is better.
Yeah, you get the confidence
and you really do, don't you? You go up there and it means something to you. You can put out all of yourself
it's
again.
It's reward for work. That's what it really is. It's not this instant gratification stuff that a lot of, particularly young people are kind of fixated on.
Right, but in terms of
don't want to bring it
though,
onto like the Instagram sucks argument, because it's not an argument, it's a fact. But you put in the work, you get the reward, and it feels good. It's really
wear ear protection. Wear ear protection.
Wear, musicians who are listening, wear ear protection.
For the love of God,
do not make that mistake. No, you never get it back if you lose it.
Yeah, I got like sparks of tinnitus.
I've got tinnitus,
and you just so like I've got like a constant like. So, but it's really low level.
Do you have to put something on at night?
Yeah.
I do.
For a podcast or YouTube, whatever.
Apparently, you can use certain ear filters to do it as well. There was a company that I saw on an advert somewhere, and they were like, "We use these ear filters for like noise protection at gigs and clubbing and all that." But they were like, "We also found that some of our users were reporting that their tinnitus was getting better."
No way.
So the ones that not the ear plugs. Also, if you're going to use ear protection, don't use ear plugs.
Elon Musk by any chance?
It wasn't. The name of the company escapes me, but
Tesla.
Yeah, it was Tesla. That's it. It was Tesla's earplugs, the electric ones that you've got to plug into the wall. They're self-driving as well. But there are certain ear filters you can get that apparently do help with it. Because I wouldn't call it tinnitus, but I do have that kind of really, really high-pitched ringing. And occasionally I just lose my hearing in one ear, and it's like
it pops out for like
really, really loud ringing, and then the pitch comes down, and then I get my hearing back. Wear ear protection.
It's scary.
Yeah. I mean, mine came from...
It's bad.
Childhood. I had mastoidectomies, but I had to have like big operations taken out.
Right.
I've got no bone in there somewhere, but there was a huge operations, and I've just learnt to live with it now. But
you get used to it,
man, it's really irritating. I've not
annoying.
Talked about this on a podcast before. This is exclusive here.
It's particularly stressful if your life or your art, I guess you'd call it, revolves around something in the audio kind of sphere, isn't it? Because it's like tinnitus doesn't get better.
And it's funny going into that world, because I've got a friend that's colourblind, and he does videography, and like when he's doing the colour grading,
my brother's a colourblind graphic designer.
I have to go through and tell him, like, dude, notch it down a bit. Saturation's just like so everyone's good. A Simpson.
My God, I love that.
Nathan, man.
Yes.
We've not heard about you prior Good Hustles.
Right.
I mean, we're nearly an hour and 25 in or so.
Really?
I know, it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
How long have we got left?
I don't know how long.
Yeah, how long was the first take?
As long as
We're actually 4 hours. I've been here 2 days. Help.
You're very fascinating. I feel I would have got on with you at school. That's what I feel. It's a strange. Do you know when you go? I like you. I don't know where I like it from, but I know your personality.
What the feeling's mutual.
Fits my personality.
Yeah, we seem to click. Yeah.
There's something there. Right. I'm sorry. Morton.
We're going to need you to leave.
That's fine.
Morton, I love you like a brother, man.
No, I was also going to... I love you like a brother. No, I love you like I got that connection with Mort the first time we met, and he knows that. So don't be a whiny little bitch, please.
Where did you grow from, man? Are you not based?
Nottingham born and bred, yeah.
And did you all go to the same school?
No. We only met when the band formed, really.
It was just Reddit.
The serendipity of me and Mort meeting was incredible. So I'll give you the abridged version. Was going to go to uni, didn't get the grades I needed, ended up having to stay in Nottingham.
Lucky git.
Yeah. You know what? Best thing that ever happened to me. Genuine. There's a lot of stuff that happened around that situation, but best thing that ever happened to me. I truly believe that. And also the reason that this happened is when I was doing my A-levels, 3 days before my exam started, my appendix ruptured.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Missed all of them. I was sat on a radiator. I'll tell you the story. Sat on a radiator in the common room. It's a good story. Eating a chocolate spread sandwich. I remember it vividly because I thought I was going to die. Like, legitimately thought I was going to die. I felt really sick. Like, beyond sick. You know when you're not to weird people out here listening, you know when you know you're going to be sick, you feel it in your throat, your stomach gets weird, you know it's coming. It was like that, but it was more than that. So I got up and I was like, okay, I need to go outside and be sick. I get up, 4 or 5 steps in, I feel like I've been shot. And I looked down, fully expecting to see blood. Didn't hear a gunshot. No one came up and stabbed me, but it legitimately, I was like, something's just happened. And my ears start ringing, my vision went blurry. And like, you know, in films, that zooming effect where like they pull away and they zoom in and the field of view closes in?
Yes, yeah.
That kind of happened as well.
Legit?
And like everything just kind of stopped existing.
Out?
Yeah. So there's one of the teachers who's standing there and I'm saying her name, but I can't even get the words out. My voice just is gone. I just don't have the strength.
Oh man,
and I'm leaning against this door and then bam, gone. And I wake up and I'm on a chair outside with her holding my head up by the neck because I don't even have the strength to sit up straight. And my dad arrives and I get into the car, go to the medical centre and like, you need to go to a hospital. We think you've got appendicitis. Go and get it whipped out. It's fine. Got a little bit addicted to morphine. No, I did. I fully understood why hospital windows have bars on them when I was in the hospital for a few days. It sucked. Anyway, so my appendix ruptured, missed all of my exams. I had to go back a year to do it again. That is what set all of this in motion. It sucked at the time, but it was probably one of the best things that happened to me. Defining moment in my life. So reset, going to go to Leeds University, don't get the grades, thank God. Nothing against Leeds University, it just wasn't right for me. End up staying in Nottingham. So I ended up getting accommodation quite late, so when I moved out to go to uni. Because of that, I basically got what I think is probably the last room available in Nottingham. Go into this room, move into it, ended up getting in a fight with someone I lived with. He was playing music the day before an exam. Like 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
This is all new to me.
Knock on the door, some stuff goes off. And so then I get into second year. And again, leave it super, super late to get accommodation, like really late. And go and do a tour of this house. Don't know anybody I'm living with. I'm like, look, I'll take it because beggars can't be choosers. I need to get somewhere to live. Move into the house. And I'm unpacking my stuff. And this girl walks past called Jade, who Mort is now dating. Yep. So we get to get on really, really well. We have that connection, we click, and she becomes one of my best friends. And so she's like, she gets a job working at a bar to help pay for stuff while she's doing a master's degree. And she's like, oh, there's this open mic night, and there's this guy called Morton who's super talented. I told him about you because she knew I played guitar, because I play guitar constantly in the house and annoyed everyone. And she was like, you guys should meet. And then that's how it kind of happened. And we went and met at an open mic night, and I saw him play, and I was like, man, I should be in a band with this guy. He saw me play. He was like, man, I should be in a band with this guy.
He'll do.
Yes, right. Okay. And then we meet, and we're like,
who made the actual dude, we should be in a band? Or did you do it? I think
it was at the same time.
I could see you doing it together and go, jinx.
We used to have this joke where when we were looking for band members, we would look for, like, we'd go to open mics, look for people to recruit, and then if someone was really good, we'd like bang our fists on the table, go, super group.
Like they're like midway.
I literally love you guys.
They're midway through their set. It was so offensive. It's just really obnoxious. They're sat there like midway through this like heartfelt song, and they're just like really going for it, and we're just there really quietly, just like super group. But
and then Good Hustles was born, and we recruited new members, and here we go.
Yeah, here we are.
I can't remember what Life Before Good Hustles.
Well, dude, I was just
sorry, I really went off there.
All my head was going was, this guy should do audiobooks. It's a perfect story. I mean, one thing you were saying then is it's the best thing that ever happened to you, and doing this podcast. Yeah. I've had a lot of different walks of life on, and the commonality of people going like my depression or literal my worst pain of my life, all their pains are the pivotal and most integral parts of their existence.
Yeah, they tend to be.
Yeah, it leads to it.
Why do you think that is? Does it just realign you and reassess what life is and what your position is? Or to get existential? It's just while I was listening, I was going, I've spoken to so many people recently where they're saying my depression made me
It does.
Yeah,
it does for a lot of people.
That.
And I really hope that everybody suffering that can also get to that stage, because I know some people haven't got there yet, but you will.
You do
keep
get
pushing
there.
And you will get there.
Yeah,
it is such an important piece of knowledge, isn't it, from other people's as well. I love that quote, be the person you needed when you were younger.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hearing that, where if somebody's in this minefield now where they're at the bottom of the pit and they don't feel they could ever reach or climb up, just that knowledge, there's a ladder. There's somebody out there to lower it down. You've just got to believe in that.
Yeah. For the people, I will move away from, I don't want to make it about this, but it's an important topic. For the people who are suffering that, I've been through it. I have been through to some bad places. I almost wasn't here to tell the story, right? So I know what it's like, and I know that when you're going through it, you don't believe that. You think I'm the only person that gets this. And, you know, for your personal circumstances, maybe you are, but you're not the only person that cares about you. You're not the only person that is going through it and has gone through it. There are people out there who want to help, who are qualified to help, and who are trying to help. And keep going. It's the best advice I can give. I've really been through it. I have. Some people have had it worse, but, you know, you shouldn't ever downplay your own suffering because it's your version of the very worst.
Yeah.
You know, for all of those people, I'm going to get really deep here. For all of those people who are going through it, listen to what I'm saying. Keep going.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Mate,
you really can.
How inspiration as well. And listening to the first half of this podcast and where it's been, and seeing this formulated out of it, and let's say it, New York, take a shot.
Take a shot.
But all these moments coming through it, and was that part of your life, and we don't need to go into it if you wouldn't wish to, but was it around that time where you'd failed and you was going in this patch of...
So, yes, that was... Yeah, crazily enough, that's what brought me here. So I was in a relationship with somebody, and because I was young and stupid, that's why I was going to go to that university.
Right,
it's also a good university with a good course, and it was right on track with what I
You're
was
so
studying.
desperate to not offend Leeds.
Doing some mental acrobatics here. Look, Leeds is a good university.
You will get gigs in Leeds, all right?
Well, we already have. Our first gig was actually in Leeds.
We've had one and they never
Our very
wanted us
first
back.
gig was there. But weird that it was in Leeds, not Nottingham. Anyway, so I was in a relationship with somebody, and I really, really thought that I was in love with this girl.
Yeah.
We've all been there, you know. And everyone who's listening, you've probably been there. And things went very, very badly wrong after she moved to Leeds and I stayed in Nottingham. And that really pushed me over the edge, because I spent my entire first year petitioning the University of Leeds because I consistently got the grades to get in mock tests. But some stuff happened around my exams, lost a family member, things were going not too well. And I don't want to make excuses. I got the grades that I got. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So some stuff went really badly wrong, and I had spent the entire year trying to get to Leeds to have this dream life that I wanted with this girl. And when that came tumbling down, it was like an entire belief system. Like all of this work, I really worked, studying 6-7 hours a day, finally got them to reverse their decision. If I went and resat the A-level exams, was studying A-levels and a degree at the same time. And then it kind of got rug pulled on me, and it messed with me badly, to the point that I didn't get out of bed for a few days at a time. I used to take painkillers instead of eating because that got rid of the hunger pains. I was a mess. I was in real danger, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And luckily enough for me, my brother lived in the same city, and someone he was living with moved out of their house, and he was like, he knew what he was doing, and I can't thank him enough for it, but he knew I was in trouble, and he was like, oh, why don't you just come and hang out over here? And then eventually I kind of just moved in.
Right, okay.
And then my life exploded, and things got really good really quickly. And I went from like...
Alan Watts got brought in the account.
Yeah, and then Alan Watts contacted me in my dreams. And then Tony Robinson was on the phone. Gary Vaynerchuk was in touch.
Did you go down that path from that? When you got brought into this house, was it a spiritual and philosophical revolution for you? It
started off as an alcoholic one.
Okay, yeah.
So the first half of my first year in uni was living in student halls, which is fine, but it was only focusing on getting to the ultimate goal of going to a different university, ironically. So I didn't go out, didn't socialise. I was that guy. I was the vampire that you live with that you never see, but you're not quite sure they exist. I was him. He was I. And so when I moved out, started to become happier because I was getting over what had happened with this relationship, and I was kind of, it still hurt. It did for a long time afterwards, but I started to reassert me rather than being my existence is devoted to this list of things I want to achieve in this person. I was like, I'm me. I'm going to have fun. Screw what everyone else thinks. And I just stopped caring what people thought, and then I started going out and having fun and making new friends and doing all the stuff that comes along with that, and it was just great. And then as it settled down, you know, when your liver starts hurting and you're like, I should probably not go out drinking tonight, and you're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to read philosophy books. So when the really bad stuff was happening, for that period of 6 months, I spoke to a psychologist later about this. This is getting really... I'm okay with talking about all this, by the way. I'm very, very open about this because people need to hear it.
Yeah.
I was later informed that I had a complete dissociation from my own identity. So my personality just stopped. So when you said we would get on at school, I was kind of a different person. Like that kind of who I am, the really core part of it was still there.
Yeah.
But it was very different in how I expressed it. But so I had that dissociative episode, and it just kind of destroyed my personality. Fortunately, and if we're going on serendipity, this is another one. I don't even know how this happened. I was on a forum researching some books because I was like, I need to develop myself to get into this university. So philosophy, literature, art, music, science, everything, literally everything. Economic. I have an actual university course economics book that I've read through a few times. Like I was obsessed. I was a man possessed. But these books became the new foundation for my personality.
Okay, yeah.
And I was incredibly lucky that happened because my personality and who I am was then based upon a lot of Buddhist principles. There's a book called The Slight Edge, which is about kind of the law of compounding, learning things. So if you improve by 1% per day, you're 37.4 times better at the end of the year because 1.00 to the power of 360 plus 1 to the power of 365 is 1% increase every year.
Mate, I like
this. This is how much I internalised. This is how much I internalised this, and I read this book years ago.
Feeding my soul.
So, all of these principles, you know, as cheesy as self-help books are, they exist and they're popular for a reason because some people need them, and I did at that point. And I still read them occasionally now because it's just good to top up. But I built my entire personality on that and all of these non-fiction works that I was reading, and because of that, the knowledge and the philosophy of it seeped in without me noticing. And then after I'd gone through the party phase and it settled down, it was there at the end, left for me to just...
Like a golden nugget.
Yeah, there was just something there.
This is a part of me now.
And I kind of realised, wow, I had a completely transformative experience, and now here I am with this hugely long, hopefully, life in front of me. What do I want to do with it? And I've told Mort this story, but when I was younger, I started learning music from my granddad. He was not famous, but he was quite a well-known guitarist in a rock band back in the 60s. And he used to host gigs in Nottingham for bigger artists. Like I have a guitar that used to belong to a member of the police. So proud of him.
Still?
Yeah. I've got hanging on my wall, I've got a Hagstrom Futurama Mark II from 1963.
Mate, don't let anybody know where you live. Calm down here.
I won't. I adore these instruments. They are works of art to me. But so unfortunately in 2006 he died because he had cancer. And so he was the one who was teaching me music, and when that happened it made it very difficult to go near music because I was very close with him. He was one of the greatest men I've ever known. Genius in every level. Just, you know, everyone feels like this about their grandparents. Hopefully they do. I hope that people get to have that relationship that I had with him. Unfortunately, that relationship was cut short, and so it made it very difficult to come back to music. So for years, I just didn't really... Like, I played guitar, but I didn't passionately play. I just kind of kept up the skill and brushed up a bit. But I wasn't there yet with it. Then I came across this YouTube video of a guy called John Butler, who made this song called Ocean.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, it's 12 and a half minutes.
His story was that he was homeless. He used to busk in Adelaide, Fremantle. He used to busk in Fremantle in Australia. And he wrote this incredibly inspiring piece of music on a 12-string guitar. And I saw it. I can't remember how I arrived at this link, as it always happens. When these moments happen, you don't realise how important they are, and you don't write down how it happens. So I see this piece of music, it's like 12 minutes long, and it ends, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, my life is different now.
My life is different now.
Yeah, I've had that with music.
Pick up a guitar, and then it clicks. And I'm like, I don't want to. All of the things I'm about to say are completely true, but I know how it sounds.
I'm worried.
Picked up this guitar. I had this black and white Stratocaster, not a Fender or anything, like an off-brand one.
Yeah.
That my granddad bought me. First guitar I properly owned. Picked it up, tuned it up. Took ages because I hadn't learned to tune by ear, and just played the lowest string, low E, and it's weird. I kind of felt it vibrate through. I don't want to. I know how it sounds.
Mate,
I swear to God, it's
I've
true.
done enough psychedelics in my life to understand where you're at now.
I just sat there playing this note, and just I can't describe how it felt.
Yeah,
and I still feel it now. And I think that's the moment where it's just like. That's where my life is going.
A lot of people will recognise what you explained.
Yeah, musicians out there, poets. Yeah, when you have that, I'm not personally religious. I understand the merit, I understand the belief. I'm not religious though, not in the classical sense. I think there may be a God, but who knows? We'll all find out. But welcome to philosophy.
Get him on the other podcast.
I'm fully in.
No,
I'm so
if
in
you
with
want to do it
this,
again,
man.
let's do it.
We're going to start a podcast out of this. I love this.
Let's do it. So I had one of those. Maybe you could call it a religious experience. Like I didn't hear God's voice, Nathan, you shall play the guitar. That would have been great. Although I would really sound crazy there. But, so I just had this experience, and it was like, just everything came into focus.
Like a shift.
And music's not the only thing I have a passion for, but it's always going to be there. So I started learning about like orchestras, symphonies, and started writing them. Started learning about other instruments and how their timbre comes together and blends and creates these waveforms with others, and it just got deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And now here I am in a band with my best friends. I write orchestral pieces.
Perfect
I'm
turnaround.
writing the score for a musical with Morton. I've worked with various other artists. I've worked with Joey Collins. I did the strings on some of his stuff. And
the big boys out there then.
I love Joey Collins. And
all the top acts.
Here I am,
I mean,
so keep pushing.
Morton, I'm sorry I asked, mate.
For everyone listening, I know, mate, I really went off there.
That is so inspirational, genuinely. And what an incredible story. There's so many parts within that I've recognised.
I could elaborate on it for hours.
Oh man, we should do this.
If
we
you want
really
to do
should.
it,
I know I've got to play Dad today at some point, so I thought I'm going to be in here till it starts getting dark and dim, and we're going right bedtime now, boys.
Yeah, Chrissy's watched all 4 Toy Story movies. And just like, take this baby away,
dude. Did you know she was watching Toy Story?
I walked in at the credits of Toy Story 2.
Thank God.
I was singing along.
That was a bit weird.
I was going,
oh no, I'm psychic, yeah.
How do you know what my missus is watching? Do you want some?
How about, because I'm very conscious that I've just taken up a chunk.
Mate, that was perfect. I mean, one part in what you said there really rung with me. Well, 2 parts. Yeah. I'll go to the song at a part where I got that moment.
Yeah.
And I'll go to where you're talking about filling yourself with philosophy. I had a very similar part where I didn't understand who I was, but I was asking questions, so many questions all the time.
Those questions are the beauty. Hold on to those questions if you're going through that now.
I had a curious mind, but I had a loss of self. I didn't know what my position in the world was supposed to be. But one man at the particular time of doing this was asking questions, was Russell Brand.
Yeah.
And I remember it was during his don't vote guys and do all this. But even though maybe I didn't agree with his merits in this sort of thinking, he said some incredible things where it was the first person to go, this is all bullshit, guys.
Like him or hate him, that man thinks.
Stand back and take a look at what's going on. And I think he made a lot of mistakes on his way up. But I was watching that Trues episode every week, all the time, just see what he said. And I ended up, my identity became a mini Russell Brand for a bit. I was like, all right, guys, what we should do? Fuck politics.
Throw your hair
fuck
out.
It all.
Get the chest hair.
I wished I could, son. But I really did. And I went travelling with that. And I was going around hostels and being the little Russell Brand of the hostels, telling people this woke stuff. But I love what you said, because I don't regret any of that, because it really did imprint a part of me, and that good side of my nature that has always existed and been there it started to flourish then, and as soon as I started building up my identity a bit stronger and understanding who I was, and I like parts of Russell Brand, but I also like parts of Joe Rogan. I also like parts of my dad, and then you get to sort of hand pick and hand choose what it was about them you liked, rather than just accepting all of it.
Well, all information you take in anyway, I like to think of it this way: it filters the way you've grown up. The brain you have essentially is a set of filters. Information comes in, it filters through your experience, it comes out in behaviours and whatever, and so you're only going to take in. Like, you can pretend to be Russell Brand for as long as you want. That's also fine. But eventually your personality is going to combine. Your personality is going to amalgamate and combine with that, and you're going to leave behind the parts that don't fit and keep the parts that do, and that's how you become the fantastic person you are today.
That's
sweet.
Morton's hating this podcast.
I wanted some love.
Come on, we're having a big cuddle after
I was
this.
going to ask you more. I know you've had some experiences like that around music, particularly with the way that you see harmony. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as deep, and I feel like I
need to be deep to
yeah,
me.
But no, I mean,
you're not letting us down, son.
No.
Just tell your story.
No, I know you have a good story.
No, I mean, just because I have chromesthesia, which is like, it's a form of synesthesia, which I can never say. But that's basically where like two senses cross over.
We were going to bring that on the other podcast.
We talk so much shit, man.
It was meant to be.
But no, like it's one of those where so what it is if I have an audio input, whether it's like voices, like nature sounds, whatever, music, it will register some kind of like it's kind of like if you look at static on a TV screen, it's like that but with colours.
Yes.
And I know that makes I'm doing all this weird stuff with my hands because, like, in my field of vision, it's all around the periphery. So anytime I hear anything, even my own voice, like, there's like a thing going on.
Okay, yeah.
There's like a little bit of like interference or whatever. And so yeah, I didn't realize that there was anything. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with me, but like I didn't realize that I was different in any way until
you
I was.
Thought everyone saw the world in this vision.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I went to.
Doesn't this happen to you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's literally what it was. It was like I had to like I was working with this singer when I was at uni because that's when I first started learning music in general. Was like I was such a late bloomer. I was like 20 and was like, oh, I'll learn to play guitar. I'll actually learn how to sing and whatever. And this guy that I was working with, I was like, right, so if your starting note is like here. So I guess my harmony would be like here, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just getting the, I'm seeing where the notes are." And he just looked at me like I had two heads. He was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Then I had to explain it, and then he was like, "That isn't a thing. I have no idea what you're talking about." He thought I was mental. Didn't work with me again. He was just afraid of me. And
this guy's nuts.
I legit, yeah. And so I started looking it up and whatever, and I did like a brain scans kind of study thing with with Nottingham Trent Uni, and they were basically just like, what it is there's like a lack of separation between the left side and right side of your brain when you're born or when you're like growing as a baby, and 1 in 23 people have some form of this crossover. So like the most common one I think is like people see numbers as colours, or days of the week as colours. So like there's this whole thing of like, what was it, 4 p.m. on a Thursday links up with like 8 p.m. in August or whatever. Like that's just it's something feels similar.
Okay.
But you have no idea how to explain why. But that's what it is. Is this weird synesthesia? But yeah, so like
it's fascinating.
It's
nuts.
Really
fascinating,
cool, isn't it?
But like,
I think a lot of musicians have that as well, and don't. I didn't realise that.
I think it was Mozart had it.
Yeah, he most certainly did. Yeah.
He said that they bought the lights down. If it's not Mozart, I'm going to feel like an arsehole. He said that they bought the lights down in the theatre before the orchestra started, so that people could see the music better. That's how he explained it. Like that's how he felt
beautiful.
Which is cool.
That's very poetic.
And if it isn't Mozart, I'm going to feel like a mug. But
don't worry, man. I'll put it up.
Name a load of musicians. Like
call me out in the comments.
Cut it out.
Yeah. But no, so I was like fascinated by it, and I reached out on Reddit and was like, does anyone else have this or some form of this? Can we talk about it? I ended up speaking to a bunch of these people who had like just various different versions of it. And so there was this one guy who had the concept of numbers, so not like 1 2 3 4, but like there is one of this, there is two of this, were linked to colors. So if he had like one, I think he did it with coins. If he had one coin, that would be red,
Yeah.
If you had 2 coins, that would be orange, and then it would like go all the way down to purple and then link back again. But like he like through the conversation I was having with him, he figured out that it wasn't like the number 1, 2, 3, 4. It was literally groupings. Punch the mic. It was groupings of things he saw differently. So if he saw like 2 cars together, they'd be orange together.
Wow.
And it's nuts. It's one of these weird
absolutely
little...
I've never heard of this before, but it is completely fascinating.
And it's this whole thing
I
of
think
like
a lot more people have it than they think as well.
So you like
maybe I do. Maybe I have it.
Some people, myself for example, occasionally with music I feel sensations on my forearms. It's hard to describe, but certain words have certain textures to me. Some of our all of our songs have colour. Like it's so hard to describe it. Yeah, like I was describing a song to Mort as kind of purple, and I don't know how to describe it, but it is to me.
Yeah.
Lord has it.
It's a question I ask in schools when we go into schools and do free writes. The first question I ask is, what colour's Tuesday? And because that doesn't have an answer, it's very open-ended. The kids just go wild with it, and everything they put. It's in a book. I definitely recommend this book. It's called The Book of Thunks. But have you heard of it? Ian Gilbert. I work for Ian.
Really?
Incredible human. And he started this company called Independent Thinking. And it's the fish going the other way in the education system. So that's why they picked me. They goes, you were that fish. You just didn't get recognised as fish. So he got me up on it. But when I've got that book, I'll lend it you. It's so good. But there's just these open-ended, nuanced, grey questions, philosophical questions. But you've actually got an actual answer for colour of Tuesday.
Like, it's just Tuesday's orange for everyone.
I thought that as well.
Tuesday's orange, Wednesday's yellow.
Completely purple, 100%.
Wednesday's more blue to me.
But it's such a weird... it's just a weird thing. But like when there's a lot of times where we'll be recording in the studio or whatever, or like I'll be talking about something, and I'll literally have to be like, shut up. Everyone shut up. And I'll just like stare off in the middle distance. I'll be listening to it and I'll be like... and like I'll have to picture it, and that is the weirdest thing. Is like the more I've done it, the better the stronger it's become. I
mean, I don't know if you've heard of these studies, but they're using magic mushrooms in America.
The microdosing, aren't they?
Microdosing, and they're particularly using UFC fighters because they're finding this is literally regenerating part of the neurons that have died, and we thought
the
before,
concussion,
concussions and so on.
It's a fascinating science,
and it's incredible, and it's quite groundbreaking because we thought at a point when these brain cells are dead, that's it. But these ones are literally coming back to life and being sparked up. I was listening to a few interviews, and synesthesia is something you experience in these psychedelic experiences. So a lot of them were tasting sound.
It's there, it's just some people have access to it.
It made me think it's inside of us. We've got senses, and the senses can get, I don't want to say confused, but intertwined.
Well, essentially that is what it is.
And so a lot of the reports back was of the UFC fighters saying, they put green on the screen, I could taste green. I can't tell you what green was, but I was inside of it. So
there's this whole thing, like, so I'm reading this book at the minute called Subliminal by Peter Wadlinow, I think it is, that's how you say it. But he's basically saying that like so much of the information, we have so much input from so many different senses that we can't just pass it all. We can't understand all of it, so we just kind of cherry pick. So you'll never remember something perfectly. You'll remember like a version of it as you remember it happening. But so one of the things that like is brought up in this book about synesthesia is if you're seeing colours as numbers, there are 8 numbers in a scale, and there are 8 numbers on like the rainbow, on like the spectrum. So everyone can make that connection.
It's an intrinsic group. That makes sense.
So just as humans, we will make patterns out of stuff. So it's like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Like do, 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 do. And it's just like, well, that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue. You know what I mean? Because they match up, because they are eight things. So as like subliminally, we'll just connect them together. And that's how it will work. And so it's this weird thing of like, so much of this stuff happens in your head without you even realizing it. So that's why you could taste green. It's just like, because you know what green is. You've eaten green foods before. So you know what it is, but you can't explain why you know that. You're just
so the remembering. Link is there, but the memory of the creation of the link.
How the fuck did we get here?
We really went.
Buy tickets to our gig. Like,
I mean, I don't know who's... Do you know, I usually go, I don't know who's left. Probably my nan, hey nan. She's not even there. She's gone.
Even Russell Brand left the chat.
No, honestly, I think there's a few people in on that going... I want to ride this train.
Yeah, what is this?
Welcome to the crazy train.
But quite literally, and this isn't scapegoating, but I do have a life to live
You have
today.
to. Hey, so we all do, don't we?
It's a Saturday, and I've got baby life to do.
Yeah.
Are we going to make a podcast happen? Are we going to make
I will do that with
a
you.
tune? What are we going to do, boys?
Right, I'll tell you what. Let's work on an instrumental. Get the lo-fi beats in.
Oh man, yeah.
We'll send that to you. You write it. We'll debut it on the first episode of the podcast.
Dude, is this happening?
Let's do
I
it.
mean, what we can do is just get ones you've already got, but just take Alan Watts out and pop me in.
Yeah, I can send you 2 or 3 today if you want.
That'll be
Look at
amazing.
this, this is
Honestly,
actually happening.
it's
If you give me your number, I'll add your
kicking
WhatsApp.
off.
Yeah, man. Rhythmical
People.
Mike X Hustle. Right, let's go.
Now, guys, you haven't done this bit yet, and this is the important bit.
Mm-hmm. Right, we're
What have you got coming up? Let's go
yeah.
to music
Yeah.
again.
We're going to be microdosing.
I do not mind who's in now, because I'll be
I know.
editing this back and going, I love this, Chrissy. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the best podcast. But yeah, for the bit of the bass level now,
Yeah.
what is going off? What are we expecting?
I mean,
say New York one more time, hopefully.
Take a shot. Take a shot.
Yeah.
We have a 7-track EP, which we've been working. We wrote all of it in lockdown. It's all brand new, so that is coming out at some point this year. We're not going to say any more than that. But in terms of genre, there is like an acoustic love song, which is a duet with that singer. There is a how would you define DW?
What are the initials of the song?
DW. That's like a metal, but with also trap. And like there's like rap elements to it.
If anyone is
Who's
a
doing
fan
that?
of Sleep Token or Dropout Kings, a little bit like that.
Yeah,
Maybe Royal Blood?
Rob, yeah, a little bit of that. There's like some punk elements, there's pop punk, and then traditional rock. It's all over the place.
There's a bit of Radiohead in there.
There's a little bit of a Radiohead. It's a mess. Like it's cross genre.
Eclectic.
So there's that. We've got headline gig Rescue Rooms in July 23rd, 20th. I know.
No.
17th,
17th?
yeah, 17th of July. 17th of July.
Rescue Rooms reps. I'm really sorry about that.
Link is in the bio, all that jazz. But like, yeah, so like, but we're going to be debuting pretty much the entire EP plus some classic stuff. But like I said before, it's a whole show now. It's not just playing song after song. It's like no. There is so much going on.
Yeah.
man.
We have all, so we have
Mascots.
How did Pete say that? How to word it? An instrumental bed, an instrumental synth bed,
A synth bed
a synth bed.
with more synth beds. Peters has a really good way of working.
It's a more new
Queen size bed.
It's not just 4 dudes playing dude rock in a dude band on a dude stage, but it's like
You said that, and I totally knew exactly what you were
right.
doing. No,
So it's-
I'm in again.
it's not that anymore. We have, I guess the best way to describe it is backing tracks.
I can't say backing tracks. Pete's gonna kill you.
Sorry,
we have
Peters.
synth beds.
Synth beds. Backing tracks. Sorry, just hit the mic. You just hit it again. Backing tracks, synth beds.
Instrumentals.
We've got instrumental stuff. We have a lighting engineer. We've got.
Oh, man.
We've now got like in-ear wireless monitoring systems, so that
Calm
we-
down.
we can all
boys.
we can all listen to each other and know exactly what's happening, what's about to come up.
me and Peters are doing backing singing now.
Yes, which I'm so excited for. They've never done it. They've never done, and now I want.
How were you feeling for that? Were you ready for the take the plunge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
going to
so
be
hyped.
nervous on the day, but I'm going to get drunk. So
Yeah, but like we
if
get
someone
to,
I'm going to pay
Always
someone
the
to run up to
answer.
me and go New York, New York, New York.
yeah, man. So
gonna
like
be
it's
good.
but we've been working on it non-stop. So it's one of these where we've taken, like I think I mentioned before, like we went into lockdown and we were like, right, let's write everything. We can do whatever we want, and then we wrote like 15 tracks, and then went, they're all shit, and we saved 3 of them. And then we wrote like another 8, and then we were like, they're shit too. So we saved 2 of those, and then we wrote like a bunch more, saved 2 of them, and then that's how we got to the 7. And
we only want to keep the songs that inspire us every time we hear them.
How
Yeah.
does a song end up in the shit pile?
well,
Mort writes it.
Mort writes it. Yeah, you dick. No, like, no, like I'll write what'll tend to happen is there'll be an idea, it'll go into a WhatsApp, we'll have a bit of a chat about it. If no one really vibes with it, it just falls off.
Yeah, okay.
Even if it's a full song, and like, so we've got like,
although some of them get revived. Smile, the song we were talking about,
that got revived.
that
from
was written about a year before it came out, and then it died, and then we revived it and rewrote it. And
so
that's the one
not that
where
I'm trying to
you
make
got
a
your
promise to our fans.
from as well,
Like,
didn't it? Oh, interesting.
And that's
some
the
songs
thing.
may be rewritten.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of these where it's just a constant process of, if we don't have it exactly right when we're playing it. So if like we all get in a room and we all play it and we don't all go, fuck yeah, let's play that again.
Yeah, great.
Then we just
great attitude.
Well,
we just scrap it.
The energy we have when we rehearse, we want to have that on stage as well. If
Yeah.
the song's kind of like,
Which I don't think. Like I think at the minute we are so excited about everything that we do, and like
I'm going to be moshing to the ballad. It's going to be great.
that's my point. Is like I'm at the point now where, even though it's my voice, I like listening to us. And I've never been at that point with my own music ever. And now I'm like, actually, I really like this. I really like this. I really like what you've done here. You know,
It feels kind of weird, you know, when I'm driving. I listen to music all the time when I'm driving. Like, just in general life, if I can be listening to music, I am. But when I'm driving and one of our songs comes on, and I'm like, if no one sees me vibing to this, if someone does, I know I was about to skip it. I'm not like that. My secret's out now.
I think that's when you know you found your sound.
Yeah.
It's discovering your sound.
Yeah, that's exactly how we've described it in the past as well.
As we said earlier in the podcast, I won't go and delete any of my material, but there's definitely stuff where when it comes on for me, I skip straight away.
Yeah.
It's that,
I've got a few of those.
Going into music and being terrified to be on a beat in particular, because the reason I did spoken word, this is very ironic, is because I had no rhythm.
no rhythm. Yeah, I knew this.
Rhythmical mic, it made no
rhythm.
sense. So I was just terrified.
He's a fraud.
And some of my mates would send me really quite heavy hip hop beats.
Yeah.
So you've got to be on beat, or doing the spoken word thing to that is hard. So you've got me doing what? Can you imagine your teacher at school doing with the class? And
I had a teacher that did that.
now we going to the beat. And we're going American. I don't
And it's
know.
always that, you know, that like on every single Yamaha keyboard, it's that sample.
DJ.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah, it really is. But as soon as it was more the lo-fi thing, where it's got a lot of allowance to
There's
it.
more space in it, isn't there?
Definitely. And
Atmosphere.
the tracks that I've done talking on top of now, it comes on in the car because I'm in that playlist. With it goes like Mike Skinner, Prince might come on, David Bowie, rhythmical Mike. I'm in with the big boys. Done that for myself.
I love that. I love that so much.
And when it does come on, there's some. One in particular came on yesterday. It was the Johnny Ollie one. I don't know if you've heard that.
Oh my god, that song is so good.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Johnny just.
Johnny's unreal.
Mate. Oh, Johnny.
You are the man.
Man, I mean, we've gushed over some people.
We've definitely
today.
done this as well.
He did just a real quick interjection.
Yeah,
On his Instagram, like a year and a half ago, he did like a blues guitar solo, and I was like,
Yeah.
that.
I think like
Special man.
and when he just every time, it's one of those where like I've been him and Laurie Illingworth, I would just be like, put out more music. Everything you do is fantastic.
You guys
but
have no right to be so talented.
But they're like so picky about how they sound, so that's fine. Don't worry about it. But then like Johnny's just dropped like 2 singles over the last 3 months, I think.
Yeah, it's probably the fastest
slow
he's
and
ever done
change.
anything.
Finally got some of his music to listen to.
Exactly, that's my point. It's like I'm just there, like it's on loop
I
now.
said that to Motormouth.
Yeah, Johnny, release more, please.
Motormouth, I try and show my mates, and back in the day, I'd be like, he is the best performer you will ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
Live,
really nice guy as well.
wherever.
Alex is sick.
The best. And then I go, I'll show you him, and I'm scrolling for hours.
There's nothing there.
I cannot discover him. There was one song go up, and again, it's one of those songs where when you see it live, it's a different experience to when you're listening to it. And it give credit to him, but I was just going, if there was a catalogue of this,
I need to get hyped up for it again.
100%. But that song came on with Johnny Ollie, and I felt real sense of pride come on.
It's a good,
Just
good piece.
Just got emotional, I suppose. And I thought, I have imposter syndrome all my life, but going, I couldn't have created that. And it was a beautiful moment, and that's when you know, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I need to be doing. But you couldn't have done it without those tracks.
No one gets there on their own as well.
Yeah, it's big.
Just quickly on that note, final thing.
I saw you were about to be like,
I just want to tell another life story, and it's going to be another hour. On the note of no one gets there on their own, one of the major things that's helped us out is getting a really, really good producer. That guy's name is Callum Benson.
Yeah,
Callum. I've not heard of Callum.
He's
you
unreal.
will one day. You
really?
Will.
Yeah,
genuinely, I think
lad,
he's one.
or?
I mean, he's what 20. I actually don't know. I've never met him. We've only ever talked
25-ish.
Yeah,
Just discovered him on Reddit.
We've talked
Callum, I should know.
Instagram.
I'm sorry.
He DM'd us on Instagram. Was like, I really like your vibe. I think that I could work with you. I think I got some good ideas.
Yeah.
And then he did our first track. I think the first track he did for us was Coffee, and he was like, and if you don't like it, just let me know, and we don't have to worry about it. And then we were just like, oh shit, you're amazing.
The first thing he sent.
Yeah, and
phenomenally talented.
And I think we just really immediately we were just like, okay, we're now going to do everything through you.
I mean, what a good business guy as well, to be out the way, go, I'm going to work here and here.
He was looking for us. I think he was literally just looking for bands like us. And I think that he was like, because I mean, we've worked with him with Holostone, which is another project that I'm in. And we basically were just like, right, we want something like this. Could you work with us? And he's that flexible that he can just do these cross-genre things. But again, that's a complete blessing that he just like stumbled into our DMs
out of nowhere
and was just like, And again, you say
Instagram,
like
baby,
Instagram.
love it or hate it.
It's a necessary evil.
But we'll be working with Callum for a long, long time going forward, I think.
Yeah, the guy, he's unreal.
He
that's the thing.
Gets it, you know.
Callum Benson.
Just
in case
for musicians out there who want to work.
This is what we were talking about earlier when we were saying that we sent over a finished track, and that all of the instruments are there, drums, vocals, whatever, and then there's just a little vocal track right at the bottom of just like, hey Cal, I hope your day's going well. Like, and we just did it over and over and over, and he just never acknowledged it. And I'm like, either he didn't hear it or he heard it and he was so terrified that he just did. Because like I said, we've not met him.
Kill me in my sleep.
We've not met him, and he's just like, we're just sending him jokes and stuff, and I'm like, I'm sure he gets it, but I'm just like, hey Cal, I hope you're having a really good day.
Because of who you guys are, though, you've got to do that to get them to test the waters.
Exactly.
Because then you know if you're going to work well together or not.
Get the band.
If you've got somebody a bit rigid, you'd be a bit maybe not. But it seems like you've got that chemistry built.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, when we meet him, it's going to be an absolute riot. Either that, or he's going to be like, "You guys need to be more professional." I mean, we've had time in the studio where we're degenerates. I've said it 3 times already. When we were in New York, take a shot. We were working with a producer called John Black, another phenomenally talented guy. But he was constantly making jokes, and he was like we'd make a joke, and he'd be like, and I get to work with you.
I have the privilege of spending my time with you.
I screwed up a guitar take, and it happens. And I'm so sorry. But I screwed up a guitar take and got my headphones on, and he's like, yeah, so it's fine. Guitar's not for everybody.
Hey, Nathan, I just want to say, like, guitar's not for everyone.
I'm sitting there like,
if you just wanna,
right.
Oh no.
If you just want to
it was
come through,
really
have a listen to what you thought was good, and if not, we can just go home. It's all right. But like he was
joking, but he has the best deadpan joke voice.
Yeah. I literally was sat in the room and I was howling, but like I was trying to keep it down because I was like, I know that he's kidding. Yeah. But he literally was.
I was in the room laughing my ass off.
He's just like,
did you know straight away as well?
Oh yeah. I heard all of the other guys laughing through the microphone. There it is. But he's the type of guy. An example of one of the jokes I saw him make on Facebook or something was like, "Oh, I saw this car parked outside my apartment building with its lights on, so I left a note on the windshield for them."
I love these people.
He's so funny.
Thank God for their existence.
The guy's so funny.
Oh man.
Right, we've taken up too much time.
Really
guys, I was listening in, just going, we could go for the world record longest podcast here.
12 hours. Let's go.
It's all on.
I'm unemployed, so
I feel for myself in podcasts at the minute. I put them on in the background, but I specifically go for the longest podcast because I love the randomness and the craziness and just the conversation going into the nitty gritty, and then you hear the meaty and you hear the painful stories and the weird and everything. And what a lot of people are missing at the minute are like mates and connection and feeling. So
we were talking about Frank Skinner with this. We were saying his honesty. Mort said that
Mike Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
I knew what he meant.
Mike Skinner. We were talking about edit that out. We were talking about Mike Skinner, and we were saying that the beauty of what he has done is he's taken an archetypical group of people from society and made it possible for them to talk about their feelings through his music. Because they were typically not people that did talk about it.
Yeah.
He's given them a way to express
There's pioneers in the music scene.
But that's mental when you think about it. Like, literally, you have a whole generation of blokes who were just like, stiff upper lip, don't cry, boys don't cry.
Yeah.
And then he came out with, Dry Eyes,
mate.
And he's straight up just like, it's a mess. And we need to talk about it. And you have that minute of just like, maybe it is alright to talk about it.
Yeah.
And of course it is.
Okay to cry, okay to feel,
and
okay to...
But Mike Skinner did it. And it's like, God damn. And obviously there are other musicians, whatever.
Stormzy,
but no one has ever worded
Stormzy
it as well as he did at that point. And I just, so much time for that.
Yeah.
But that's the point. It's like, you have these podcasts where you get all these people from all different backgrounds. Like you said, you've had all sorts in it. And you get to be open and honest with stuff because we're just a group of friends talking. And it all comes out.
And there's podcasts where I've gone into and they're set with intention, they're set with scripts, and they're set with structure, and it just doesn't vibe with me because I'm there and you've got to kind of really be listening in. But sometimes, you want to do arduous jobs, you want to just do the pots or whatever for the day, take the phone around with you and be able to just come in and out, and it goes so the aliens are coming in, and then you're 5 minutes of that you get back on what you're doing, and then suddenly it's whatever it is,
synesthesia and microdosing. But I'm telling everybody my deepest secret.
Turning the frog's gay.
I know where that's coming from. But I really believe in these sort of formats. I believe in those just conversations, because I think that's what people are turning to now, and their attention spans are going back round to, I just want to feel connected for a bit longer,
for sure,
rather than fast paced dash. Even though our conversations were
all over the
place. So guys, big stars for staying along. Say the word Old Farm Bus and put it in the comments below. You'll get a bus out of it, because I don't think anyone's still here. I'm so confident to do that.
If you've made
competition now.
If you've made it this far, you're a real VIP.
Thank you again for being here. I've got to go and play Dad now, but cheers for being a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Thank you for being on this journey, joining this ride. Good hustles. You're the lads.
Thanks for having us, man.
Be nice to one another.